Hey guys, what's up? I'm back with some housekeeping info. It's been over a year. As you can see behind me, some stuff has been moved. I really don't know where to start with this one or where to go. So let's see. After the last video I made, I got sick for a little while. Got better. Work got super busy, so I just really did not have the motivation to come down here and make a video. All of that combined with the fact that I'm not a fan of the Universes Beyond, especially since Wizards made the change that all of the Universes Beyond stuff is standard legal some months ago. I'm just not a fan of that. Not that that matters. I don't really play standard, so my opinion on that particular topic probably doesn't really matter or mean much. For the purposes of Commander, I still don't like Universes Beyond. I personally thought that the Secret Lair stuff was a great idea when they started Secret Lairs, which was originally intended to bring old cards back into the fray with special reprints and special artworks and things of that nature. And it was really cool. And so the original idea of Secret Lairs, I absolutely loved. I absolutely enjoyed, supported 100%. The way Secret Lairs are going to what they've become now, and the fact that they come out so often. Secret Lair drops, like the Secret Lair drops happen roughly, I want to say once a month. And then they also do seasonal drops. So like they'll do a summer drop, a winter drop, a fall drop, whatever the case is. And the seasonal drops usually include previous Secret Lairs that have come out up to that point, depending on what they wanted to include. It's usually like, if you do the whole like seasonal drop, it's usually like 5 or 6 Secret Lairs, I think. So a little housekeeping to say, and not a fan of that. I don't know how often I'll be making these videos. I really want to make videos for you guys more often, but that requires me to not be burnt out from work. I want to make content videos for you guys for Commander games. Again, that's another issue because I've only got the built-in camera for the system and this microphone, and a light that I'm using off to the side. I don't have a top-down camera, so I can't really do the Spell Table app, which I think will be fantastic. But on top of that, my days for playing Commander currently consist of predominantly Sundays. And some Sundays, I would like to just sit around and take a nap. And if I'm napping, I can't be playing Commander. That being said, I don't know how often I'm going to be doing these videos because Magic has become not the game I fell in love with. Not the game I used to obsess over. I really don't know what else to say. They're coming out with stuff that people are like, oh, what about this or what about that, and they'll say something like, I wasn't a fan of the crossover with Wolverine and all that. Like, yeah, some of those cards were pretty strong, but I wasn't a fan of like the crossover type stuff. It's honestly, Magic's turning into one of those anime games where they pay a company a certain amount of money to use IP for whatever anime. Like there's what was it called? Weiss Schwartz. There was an older card game called Weiss Schwartz where sets were based around different animes. So like one set would come out and it might be like Hunter by Hunter or One Piece or whatever. One Piece has its own card game now, but before that, there was Weiss Schwartz, And Weiss Schwarz was a pretty fun game. Um, I enjoyed it when I played it, but it didn't last because it was every set it was we have to dish out money to get an IP or multiple IPs depending, because some sets would be 2 or 3 different anime series in the set, and it was cool. But that's kind of what Magic's turning into, and that's not why I fell in love with Magic. That's not why I've stuck with Magic since Onslaught Block. I started in Onslaught Block. I started going to stores and doing the social thing and tournaments in Mirrodin. But I started playing in Onslaught, which was 2000, roughly the year 2000. So I'm not excited about any of these universes beyond whatever. I like Assassin's Creed. I really do. I don't like the fact that their Assassin's Creed thing focused on Ezio. I don't particularly care for Ezio in the Assassin's Creed universe. Um, Spider-Man's a great superhero. Doctor Octopus is a great supervillain. Um, I'm not a fan of having those crossover into Magic. The Warhammer stuff, I'm not a huge fan of the Warhammer series. I don't know a whole lot about the lore. But when they did that crossover, I was more excited for when they did that crossover than anything they've done since, as far as crossovers are concerned, or Universes Beyond is concerned. Um, Lord of the Rings was okay. Um, I just I'm not a fan of the Universes Beyond, and that's my personal thing. I personally don't like Universes Beyond. I personally think it's a bad idea, bad move. Particular like Universes Beyond as Universes Beyond via secret layers. That I was okay with that because then it's not encroaching on various other aspects. But when I sit down and I play a game of Commander and I'm like, oh, we're gonna play all these Magic things I've been playing for so long that I'm probably gonna know pretty much the majority of things that people play, and then all of a sudden it's I got Doc Ock, or I got Iron Spider-Man, or I got this, or I got that, and I'm like, what is all this? It's like I'm playing Magic against anime, or Magic against Marvel, DC, whatever, um, and it's like these these sure, Wizards, you're making it coexist, but it shouldn't. It should not coexist the way you're making it coexist. Some of these cards are, in my opinion, too powerful. Um, I don't throw out names on video or anything like that, but I got a buddy who, uh, by the old system, by the old system of how you talked about power levels, 1 through 10 or whatever, um, every deck he builds is a 7. Um, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what commander it is. Nah, you sit at a table with him, whatever deck he pulls out, unless he's pulling out a precon that somebody else has handed him, because he does not keep precons the way most other people do. Um, unless if it's not a precon that somebody else has handed him that hasn't been upgraded or has only been upgraded slightly, if it is something he has put together, it's a 7, which means by the current bracket system, it's a 3. So no matter what, if you sit at a table and he's playing one of his decks, even his powered down decks, as he calls them, they're still a 3. They're still a bracket 3 minimum. Now, I will say he's one of the people that, as agitated as I get playing against him, because everything he plays with is a bracket 3 for the vast majority of it, and I keep a couple of precons that are just flat precons because I haven't upgraded them yet, or I haven't took them apart, or whatever the case is. I keep those on hand so that like if I sit down at a table with newer players, I can pull out a precon and it's like, all right, cool, we're all probably on the same level because this is a straight precon. You guys are new, so I'm only going to be doing stuff that's as powerful as Wizard said this deck could be powerful. And he's one of the few players that I will continue to play with because even though he has decks that are bracket 3 or technically, in my opinion, bracket 4, like his decks are labeled as bracket 3s, but the synergy in them is so high, the bracket system might as well say that they're a bracket 4, in my personal opinion. The reason I will continue to play with him is because he won't always be like, here's a piece, here's a piece, here's a piece, you're all screwed. Or whatever the case is. He'll give the table a fighting chance, essentially. Now, yeah, there are games where it's very clear that he wins, and we're all just like, all right, cool, stop playing with your food. Go ahead and win, and we'll move to another game. But then there are games where it's like, he could win if he had, one or two other cards. So he would be in a very good position. But he won't necessarily, even if he can go for the win and we don't know it, he won't necessarily do it immediately. He might sit for 2 or 3 or 4 more turns. Essentially, if he sits at the table, he is the threat. Doesn't matter who else is at the table, he's the threat. I've seen him be the threat. And somebody else is like, I'm just going to go after the person that doesn't have anything. Just because I don't want to have to deal with the threat. And it's like, well, if we all band together and deal with the threat, it'll help. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just, he's a really good player. He's a really good buddy. Love him to death. Continue to play with him because he can play competitively, but he doesn't sit down at every game and try to play as optimally as possible. He's also one of the few players that I know that plays minimum interaction. And I say minimum interaction because when I started playing with him, he used to build decks and play no interaction. And then I started saying, like, you could probably play interaction and games would go a little differently. And then he started playing interaction, and I realized him not playing interaction was him being nice to the rest of the table. Learned that one the hard way. There's a lot of things I could probably go on a rant about here. This one's kind of short. I'm going to try and keep it short. I want to try and get more of these videos out for you guys. I want to bring you guys gameplay content. I don't have anything set up to be able to bring you guys gameplay content. I don't have a way to be able to bring you guys spell table, like stuff through spell table content. That being said, probably the primary reason I'm doing this particular video is because we're going back to a plane. It's not coming out till January, and I'm super sad that it's not coming out till January, but that's okay. That gives me time to put stuff aside, gradually. Work on other things and put some stuff aside. In January, Lorwyn Eclipse. Big fan of Lorwyn. First time we went through Lorwyn. And Morningtide and Shadowmoor and Eventide. Really liked it. Wasn't a fan of fairies and goblins during that era. Elves were okay. I personally liked the elementals during that time frame because the elementals had the the evoke mechanic. It's an old mechanic. It's a fantastic mechanic. I love that mechanic. I'm really hoping that they bring that back when we go to Lorwyn Eclipse. And I'm really hoping we see some dumb. It's, I don't mean it in a negative context or positive context. Just, I want to be able to do fun, silly, stupid things. And playing with creatures that have evoke is a way to do it. So I have a Discord set up. Trying to get, if I can get to a point where I'm not bogged down by so much other stuff, I will try to get a Patreon set up so that you guys can join Patreon. By doing the Patreon, that'll get you access to the Discord. Once I get moderators for the Discord, that's the other thing is, if you've done the moderating thing before and you have the ability to be on a good chunk, I am looking for people to do moderation on the Discord. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. This has been Cardboard Kitchen housekeeping and hiatus episode, I guess. I know I didn't do the intro. I'm Daniel. Got home from work, changed out of my work clothes, came down here, started the video. This is Cardboard Kitchen. It's meant for Magic players of all genres, predominantly focused on the Commander format, but whether you've been playing a long time or you're a new player or whatever the case is, this content is supposed to be for you guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It's free. It helps me out. Leaving comments helps engage with whatever YouTube's algorithm is, to help show that, like, people want to engage. If you guys leave comments, I try to respond to those comments, because those are about the only way I have to talk to you guys right now. Still looking for editing software that I could use as someone who has never touched editing software, and all of my videos currently have no actual editing done to them other than what YouTube lets me play around with, which is minimal. I'd love to know everybody that watches my content and be able to play some games with you guys. I would love to get to a point where I could go to these large conventions that are meant for Magic or Commander, whatever the case is, and talk with you guys, sit down, play some games, talk with you guys about XYZ. So that's probably going to be it for today. If you made it this far, just hit that like button. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, if you've been watching me rant for the past 3 minutes, hit that like button, and I'll talk with you again soon, hopefully.